What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, we are going to dive into the 4K UHD Collector's Edition of Bride of Chucky from Scream Factory. I am so excited to talk about this one. I got these in early. I did a full unboxing of all of them. Bride, Seed, Curse, Cult. That's up on my channel. I did it a couple of days ago. I'll try to link it up there. But I got them in early from Scream Factory because, as you know, if you're a Scream Factory head, if you pre-order from Scream Factory, you get it in early sometimes. Before we dive into it, guys, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, we talk about physical media here, 4Ks, Blu-rays, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me. Also, let me know in that comment section below, what do you think about the movie Bride of Chucky? I feel like of all the 4Ks that are coming out, I feel like this is the one that's definitely going to sell the most, and I feel like this is the one that the most people are going to pick up when it comes out. This movie came out in 1998, and I believe it came out 7 years after Child's Play 3. So the world had forgotten about Chucky at this point in time when this movie came out. He was kind of out of the picture for quite some time. Now, this was in the post-Scream era, but the one thing that I can say I appreciate about Bride of Chucky is that it does not feel like a horror movie in the post-Scream era. There are certain aspects where you can like draw comparisons aesthetically. Just everything around that time kind of looked the same. And for that, I think it ages a little bit better than a lot of the other horror movies that were coming out around this time. Even though I do still like quite a few of those movies. But this came out, like I said, 1998. It's directed by Ronnie Yu, who also directed Freddy vs. Jason just a few years later, starring, of course, Jennifer Tilly. I would actually say that Jennifer Tilly is kind of the star of this movie, I would say. I mean, it is called The Bride of Chucky. But her character of Tiffany debuts in this film. And right out of the gate, Tiffany is iconic. Like right out of the gate, she like propels herself with her character and her personality, like right up there with Chucky, and kind of goes toe to toe with him throughout the film. So if anything, it's very impressive how Jennifer Tilly, who was an Oscar-nominated actress coming into this movie in the 90s, not a lot of people remember that about Jennifer Tilly. She was nominated for an Oscar, did Liar Liar, and then the next year did Bride of Chucky, and has kind of been known as the, Chucky girl ever since, I feel like. But she was more than that coming into this movie, and it definitely shows because she goes toe to toe with Brad Dourif. And the thing I love the most about this film is their chemistry, their banter. I think there's some genuinely hilarious lines of dialogue in this movie. And I just really enjoyed Tiffany as a character. But I will say this might be the only movie that I really enjoyed Tiffany as a character. I liked her okay in the show, but this is definitely her moment to shine in this film. You also got Brad Dourif coming back as Chucky. That's the one thing I appreciate about the Child's Play films, is that it has that through line, and they all feel in the same universe because you had that same voice, Brad Dourif, coming back to do all of the Chucky films. So they all feel like they connect, and they all feel cohesive in that way, even though that there are certain movies that I like more than others. And Brad Dourif is great in this film as always. He's never not great as Chucky. It's just the material surrounding him isn't always the best. You also have some good kills in this movie. The one with John Ritter, who I always love seeing popping up in anything. John Ritter is just one of those like actors from my childhood that I always appreciate seeing. He was taken from us way too soon, like Problem Child, It 1990. I love John Ritter, so I like, even though he's a complete douchebag in this movie, I still enjoy seeing him. But he gets the quote-unquote Hellraiser kill, which they actually did to kind of pay tribute to the Hellraiser franchise at the time, so he gets all the nails in his face. And it's a really cool kill. There's also one involving a mirror that's pretty cool. So there's some good moments, some good kills throughout this film, some good gore in the movie. It doesn't have like a ton of gore all throughout it, but it's still, it's good enough to kind of, to feel like you're satisfied as a horror fan by the time you get to the end of it. So like I said, it came out in that Scream era, that post-Scream era, and it has that real like 90s, late 90s, like grunge style feel to it that I just appreciate and enjoy. And I'm nostalgic for because I was in middle school and high school when this movie came out. You know, it's got the Rob Zombie soundtrack. You open with Living Dead Girl playing. But to be honest, I don't love Katherine Heigl or her boyfriend in this movie. I actually think they're pretty corny for this film, and their romance I never really buy into or even really care about in the movie. So, but overall, I enjoyed this movie for what it is. I've had such an arc with the Bride of Chucky movie. I really liked it when it first came out. And then I really did not like it for a long time. I was just very stubborn. I was like, I don't like my Chucky comedic. I don't like him goofy. I just much prefer those first three. And I don't want to watch this. I didn't watch Seed for the longest time because I just got to a point where I did not like this version of Chucky. But over time, I think this movie has aged pretty well. Like I said, it's from that era of Scream, but it doesn't feel like a Scream knockoff like everything else. Even Halloween around this time was ripping off Scream, but Child's Play did not. It did its own thing. So I appreciate that Child's Play remained pure during this time, didn't succumb to the peer pressure that all of the other scary movies did around this time. Now, going ahead and getting into the 4K restoration that Scream Factory did on this. This is a native 4K transfer with Dolby Vision and HDR10. It also has a 4K scan on the Blu-ray in this set as well. And I thought this was overall a very nice looking upgrade. Now, I will say I did pop in the Blu-ray in this Universal set, and the Blu-ray actually still looks pretty darn good. Where I think that this in particular improves over the Blu-ray is, for one, it definitely runs at a higher bit rate. There's a lot more clarity there. There's definitely a lot more detail. But the visuals of this movie, the cinematography, has a real blue hue to it the entire time you're watching the film. It just feels like it's bathed in all of these blues, and that kind of covers all the skin tones, and just everything that you're watching the movie in Blu-ray is kind of just bathed in this blue. What this does with the addition of that HDR is it really brings out the colors and allows you to see some of the more colorful aspects of the film and not have them bathed in this bluish hue. So one scene in particular, you can see both Chucky and Tiffany poking their heads around the seat. You can actually see the color in their faces instead of their faces being bathed in this blue. So I did appreciate that, and that's all throughout the movie. It just kind of highlights more of the colors, more of the range of colors throughout the film, and I appreciated the upgrade for that. And I think that for that, it does look significantly better than the Blu-ray in this Universal set. And it does that without really diminishing the blue look of the film. It still looks like it did when you watch it on Blu-ray. It just has a more natural look because you have all of the colors that should be there that weren't there when they did it on Blu-ray because they just oversaturated that bluish hue. It also overall has a very nice grain structure. There is some grain there present, but overall it's just a very clear, crystal clear picture quality. So, and overall I just thought that this was a very solid 4K restoration by Scream Factory. Definitely not the best I've ever seen. But I think for this movie, probably the best they could have done. You know, for some reason, like these late 90s movies, when they upgrade them to 4K, they don't always blow me away. I don't know what it is about that time period. Maybe the cameras they were using, the cinematography, they don't always blow me away. So I feel like Scream Factory probably did the best they could here. And I do think it's the best this movie has ever looked for sure. And getting into the audio, you do have the 5.1 DTS HD Master Audio and the 2.0 DTS as well. And I thought everything sounded great. No audio upgrade here. It's the same sound that they had in the Blu-ray and DVD release, but I don't really think that there was a need for an upgrade here. Everything sounded great. The soundtrack, the score. There are some big like explosions in this movie. There's some big like set piece moments, and that does stand out with that sound as well when you have that surround sound on. So overall, sound was good, no issue there. And getting into the packaging, I'll go ahead and show off this package. Like I said, I got an unboxing of this release on the channel, but you got the synopsis, you got the special features, all that stuff. And like I said, I got the newly commissioned artwork extra slipcover. This was done by Devin Whitehead. So very nice artwork on this. For sure, and you got that nice image of Chucky and Tiffany on the back as well. And yeah, go ahead and take this out, show you the inside, show you the reverse, bam, bam, open it up. You got some sweet, sweet disc art right there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. I like the blues, the bluish green on the disc art, the artwork as well. And look, guys, we had a lot of issue last year with the Child's Play 4Ks having a bunch of like this off-gassing is what they called it, but this like greasy, like oily substance inside. These 4K cases are clean as a whistle, so I thought I would call that out as well. So nice packaging on this. I appreciate the, you know, original artwork, the original poster artwork, but I also love the newly commissioned artwork, so I had to double dip and get that as well. And getting into a pretty big negative with this release, guys, there are no new special features with this release. Now, I will say there is something new on here that I did not see present on the DVD or the Blu-ray in this set. It's an older looking making of documentary. It's about 10 minutes long, The Making of Bride of Chucky. It is not new. It looks like about 20, 25 years old. Like, it looks like it was made when the movie came out, but it is not on the DVD and it is not on the Blu-ray. So maybe it was released in another special edition set that I don't have in the collection. I'm not exactly sure, but that's on here. Then you also got about 2 or 3 minutes of TV, the Sci-Fi Channel deleted scenes are in this as well, and I don't think that those were included on the DVD or Blu-ray as well, so that might be new, and also that making of documentary might be new. But I was a little disappointed. I figured we'd get at least like a 5-6 minute interview with Don Mancini like we did for 1, 2, and 3, because we got all new special features and interviews in the 3 Child's Plays last year. So I don't understand why we didn't get anything new with Bride of Chucky, and we'll get into it a little bit more when we get into some of the other ones because I haven't really fully checked them out. But Bride of Chucky is such an iconic movie in this franchise. You'd think that there would have been some people that were willing to come back to talk about this. I know Katherine Heigl, she's up on her high horse. She's probably not coming back to talk about Bride of Chucky, but Jennifer Tilly 100% would have come back to talk about Bride of Chucky, and I would have loved to get her perspective on this movie 25 years later in a sit-down interview. And I know she's probably done other interviews, but come on, Scream Factory, get us an interview with Jennifer Tilly. Let us talk to Don Mancini as well, you know, to give us something. But like I say in all these reviews, this is the special edition 25th anniversary release, even though they're not calling it that, of Bride of Chucky on 4K. Give us something new to sink our teeth into. Interviews, you know, all that stuff, guys. You could have got anybody to come back and talk about this film. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You have that opportunity to do new special features, and I think that Scream Factory completely botched it in the special features category of this release. So overall, while I think this was a very good 4K upgrade by Scream Factory, I don't know if I can fully recommend picking this up unless you're just a massive Bride of Chucky fan. Because of that lack of special features, I just think that if you're buying a collector's edition and Scream Factory's never put this out before, why wouldn't you add in new special features? It just doesn't make any sense. So get this if, you know, the picture quality, the upgrade in picture quality sounds good to you, but just know going in, you're not going to get a ton of new special features like I think that you should have. So that's my review of Bride of Chucky. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Definitely comment down below your thoughts on Bride of Chucky if you're going to get this 4K release. I will link it down below in the description. You can check out that link if you want to pick it up. Again, $28.99 right now currently. Thank y'all for watching, and turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. Follow me on all my social media accounts in the description below, and we'll see you next time.